course not, it wouldn't. If it did, then nothing else in your body would work.
But why? The brain is just an organ. Why would it affect the works of other parts of my body? I mean, I can still write.
Of course you can't. The brain is the boss of your body, and if it didn't exist, then nothing else in your body would work.
Yes, the brain is a very crucial part of the nervous system.
But what is the nervous system?
It is a very important organ system in the human body. Now let's know more about our honorable boss, Mr. Nervous System, which holds the crucial part of the nervous system, the manager, Mr. Brain.
The nervous system. The nervous system is mainly the network of nerve cells that connect to different parts of our body. It controls all our senses and actions. One of the most important organs of the human body is the brain. In fact, it is the boss of our body because it sends signals and is responsible for all the actions done by our body. The main organ of the nervous system is the brain, nerves, and spinal cord. There are two parts of the nervous system. One is the central nervous system. The central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. The other type of nervous system consists of different nerves which spread throughout the body. It connects different parts of the body to the spinal cord to the brain. This nervous system is called the peripheral nervous system, also known as PNS. The brain is one of the most complicated and sensitive parts of our body, and so it is enclosed inside the skull, which protects the brain. The brain controls the body functions by receiving and sending messages to all the parts of our body. There are four major parts of the brain called diencephalon, brainstem, cerebellum, and cerebrum. Cerebrum is the biggest part of the brain, which occupies about 3/4 of the volume of brain. It consists of neurons and nerve fibers that help in transmitting information from the neurons throughout the brain and the body. It's responsible for our senses, imagination, thoughts, and speech. Cerebrum has two main parts, left and right cerebral hemispheres, which are connected by fibers called heart body. The left cerebral hemisphere is responsible for analytical things such as calculating, reasoning, and speech. The right cerebral hemisphere is responsible for our intuition, creativity, and other abstract things such as music and art. An interesting thing about our brain is that the left hemisphere controls the right part of our body, and the right hemisphere controls the left part of our body. Each cerebral hemisphere has 4 lobes, which are frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital lobe. Each of them performs different actions. The frontal lobe is responsible for planning our actions and controlling emotions. The parietal lobe helps to give senses to the information received by the nerves. The temporal lobe is in charge of our actions such as memory and face recognition. The occipital lobe helps in processing visual information. The cerebellum is known as the little brain. It carries signals to the brain and other parts of the spinal cord. It is responsible for our motions, balance, and ability to learn new things. The medulla, also known as the brainstem, connects the brain to the spinal cord. It is responsible for involuntary actions such as heartbeat, digestion, and breathing. The second part of our nervous system is the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system includes all the nerves of our body that goes from the skin, muscles, and organs to the spinal cord and brain. The peripheral nervous system has 2 main functions. One is to receive information with the help of nerves to our brain. These nerves are called sensory or afferent nerves. The other function is to send signal and carrying messages on what action to take from our brain to our body by the help of efferent neurons or motor nerves. Peripheral nervous system consists of 43 nerves, 12 of which originate in the brain, known as cranial nerves, and 31 of them originate in the spinal cord, known as spinal nerves. The nerves of the nervous system are made of some small cells called neurons. A neuron has three main parts, called dendrites, nucleus in the soma or cell body, and axon. The dendrites are like the entrances for messages. They receive the message and take it to the nucleus. Nucleus is in the cell body or the soma. Axons take the messages away from the nucleus and spread to our body. Messages from one neuron is transferred to another through specialized connections called synapses. The neurons are so long that if all the neurons were arranged in a line, then it could cover almost 2.5 maps of the Earth.
The nervous system, the boss of you and your body. When people introduce the nervous system, we should include the point that the nervous system is said to be the boss of our body. The nervous system is a sort of network of organs and nerves that send signals throughout the body. And our nervous system controls everything we do, such as heart rate, breathing, and even imagining. Our nervous system is one of the most significant body systems. It plays various roles which are extremely vital in the functioning of our body. It is in fact said to be the most important system. Our nervous system has such significance that without these, other body systems cannot function, such as the respiratory or circulatory system. So here is a diagram of nervous system where we can see there's two types of nervous system, the peripheral and the central. There are major parts of the nervous system including the nerves, spinal cord, brain, etc. So there are a few differences between the two types of nervous system that we are introduced to, CNS and PNS. So the central nervous system communicates with internal organs and glands and consists of the brain and the spinal cord, whereas the peripheral nervous system is mainly consists of nerves and is a vast network of spinal and cranial nerves, which links to the brain and to the spinal cord. It mainly communicates with sensory organs and voluntary muscles or skeletal muscles. The peripheral nervous system is like a bridge which connects the body with the central nervous system. It consists of about 43 pairs of nerves, from which 12 is originated in the brain, known as the cranial nerve, and the other 31 is originated in the spinal cord, and thus is called the spinal nerves. So now we will be knowing about the major part of the nervous system, which is the brain. The brain is the most complex part of the human body, and it is the most sensitive organ of our body as well, and thus it is kept in a bony covering called the skull. It is also said to be the boss of our body because it controls all our functions, actions, etc. As brain controls everything happening, it never sleeps. So there are actually three parts of the brain, which are the cerebrum, cerebellum, and the medulla. So the cerebrum is the largest part of the brain, and it takes up to 85% of the brain to control our senses, imaginations, and thoughts. This is mainly the thinking part of the brain that controls the muscles. Cerebrum also coordinates movement and regulates temperature, animal speech, judgment, thinking and reasoning, problem solving, emotions and learning, etc.
while the cerebrum is further divided into right and left halves called hemispheres. Each cerebral hemisphere consists of four lobes, which are the frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal lobe. Next comes the cerebellum. The cerebellum is also known as the little brain, which is a fist-sized portion of the brain located at the back of the head, below the temporal and occipital lobes, and above the brainstem. It helps to maintain balance, regulate motor movements, and coordination. It provides sense of balance and prevents from falling down as well. Other of its functions are to coordinate voluntary muscle movements and to maintain posture, balance, and equilibrium. Next comes the medulla, also known as brainstem, connects the cerebrum with the spinal cord. The brainstem includes the midbrain, the pons, and the medulla oblongata. The brainstem is a sort of automatic control center for several important involuntary actions of the body, such as heartbeat, beating, blood pressure, and many reflexes. It is connected to the spinal cord, or this is the originating point of the spinal cord. Now, let's come to the spinal cord. The spinal cord is a long, thin, tubular structure made up of nervous tissues. It is mainly a bridge that connects the brain to the peripheral nervous system. It extends from the medulla oblongata, the brainstem, to the lumbar region of the vertebral column. The spinal cord carries signals back and forth from the brain and the peripheral nervous system. Many nerves also send electrical signals to and from the brain and the spinal cord. Now let's be introduced with nerves, which are also one of the most vital points in the nervous system. So nerves are made out of nerve cells or neurons. These are the basic units of the nervous system. The nerves transmit electrical signals to the brain. There are some common parts of the nerves, which are the cell body, soma, nucleus, common cell components including mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum, cytoplasm, etc. There are also dendrite and dendritic branches, axon, axon helix, axon terminal, myelin see-through, node of Ranvier's, one cell, nerve endings, etc. So there are various types of nerves, including sensory nerves, which receive information from the parts of our body or senses. These signals are transmitted to the brain through these nerves. Then comes the motor nerves, the nerves which carry messages or instructions from the brain to the body. Efferent neurons are also called sensory neurons. It is greatly connected to the sensory neurons as it helps the brain to receive signal and process the information. And finally, the efferent nerves, after receiving the signal in the brain, processes the information and then sends to the motor neurons known as the efferent neurons. Now, a major part of the nervous system is the sensory organs. These organs are specialized for sense, composed of sensory neurons, which helps to perceive and respond to our surroundings. There are mainly 5 senses and sensory neurons: eyes for sight, ears to hear, nose to smell, tongue to taste, and skin to feel or touch. And this is the references of books, videos, pictures, websites, etc.
Now I understand. In order to help the brain function properly, we should eat brain food, like nuts.
Yes, and I am drinking water. Wait, too much water? I need to use the restroom. Please excuse me.
Anyways, the food is delicious.
Yes, it's really tasty.
Yes, I hope my stomach likes it.
Haha, your stomach can't taste the food. When it reaches your stomach, it will turn into a jelly.
Liquidy jelly, but how? We're eating solid foods, right? Why do we need jelly to make the food reach inside our tummy?
Have you ever wondered what happens to the food when it reaches your stomach?
It stays in our stomach for the rest of our lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely not. You would turn into a balloon in 10 days.
Your logic is funny. But what actually happens? I'm so curious.
No need to worry. Now let us tell you about the system of digestion, also known as the digestive system.
Mr. Digestive System, I'm sure you all are wondering what is digestive system? Well, this is your chance to get to know about this important body system. We know a system is called the digestive system. However, do we know what this system is? Well, the human digestive system mainly consists of the digestive tract. The digestive tract is made up of organs that food and liquid travel through when they are swallowed, digested, absorbed, and leave the body as feces. The digestive system breaks down food into small molecules that can also be used by cells in the body. It has a purpose to use nutrients and energy from the body and eliminate unnecessary elements from food.
Now we know what the system is. However, we cannot finish without knowing the process or how it works. So, let us get to know about the function of the digestive system.
Digestion begins when food enters into the mouth, which is also known as the oral cavity. First, the food goes into the mouth and then through teeth and saliva, enzyme which boosts chemical reaction called amylase breaks down carbohydrates tea with the help of saliva and it helps it to make a thick paste. Solid food is called bolus. After that, there are two pipes or ways, trachea, which is the windpipe, and esophagus, which is the food pipe. Food goes down through the esophagus. This step takes bolus from the oral cavity to stomach. Before going down, it passes through the pharynx, which is the part of the throat.
My friend Nimat has told us what happens till the pharynx. But what happens after that? Well, the stomach wall muscles churn the bolus, allowing it to mix with digestive enzymes and gastric juices. Now, gastric juices are acids, and so this turns the bolus into a liquid called chyme. Digestion in the stomach continues for several hours, which is usually 6 to 7 hours. And meanwhile, an enzyme known as pepsin breaks down most of the protein in the food. The chyme is then gradually transported into the small intestine. Now let us talk a little bit about bile. Bile is a fluid made and released by the liver, but it is stored in the gallbladder. So now the gallbladder releases bile to help digest fats. After that, enzymes from the pancreas and intestinal walls combine to start the final part of the digestion. The food then travels through the small intestine. The small intestine is about 22 feet long, but it is very thin. Now most of the digestion happens here and most of the nutrients are absorbed by the body here. Nutrients are absorbed through its walls into the circulatory system. Now, in the circulatory system, the arteries carry blood away from the heart and then to respiratory organs. The circulatory system passes the nutrients to other parts of the body either for storage or later use. Then, villi in the intestinal wall lets this happen. By the time chyme exits the small intestine, only water and some indigestible substances are left behind. Then the chyme enters the large intestine. The large intestine is only 5 feet long, but it is very wide. Here, the water is absorbed and the indigestible substances are broken down by bacteria, and this produces some important compounds. The appendix stores that good bacteria, and we can find the appendix right at the joint of the large and the small intestine. Now, for the last part, the body waste is then left, which is called feces. Now, the feces is passed onto the rectum where it is stored, and then it goes out of the body through the anus. This was the function of the digestive system.
To sum it all up, let us review the names of the main organs of the digestive system. So, the main organs of the digestive system include the oral cavity, which is also known as the mouth, the esophagus, which is the food pipe, our stomach, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, small and large intestine, the rectum, and lastly, the anus. This was all about Mr. Digestive System. We hope you got to know about this crucial body system that helps you all the time. Without the digestive system, we would not be able to digest food. So, be thankful to your digestive system.
Now I hope you understood about what is digestive system.
Yeah, understood. Now it's all crystal clear.
Finally. Did you guys do anything without me?
We did talk a little about our digestive system. By the way, Sephora, what took you so long to finish, the thing you went to finish?
I think it's privacy, please. By the way, it's really important that you finish your disposable of liquid waste from your body properly.
Really? Why? I thought they were disgusting. I honestly don't know why I think that.
Seriously, it's extremely important. Otherwise, your body would be filled with harmful waste materials that could kill you.
Kill me?
But how does the disposal of liquid waste from our body help spread the stuff of harmful waste?
It's by the help of our friend Mrs. Excretory system, also known as the renal or urinary system.
Let's know about the excretory system. You might be wondering, what is the excretory system? Excretory system comes into play for the disposal of liquid waste. Our bodies keep generating a lot of hazardous and unwanted liquid waste. These are toxic waste products which will circulate in our blood until disposed of. Urea and excess water are converted into urine, which is passed to the bladder through the ureters and expelled from the body through the urethra. The urinary bladder holds the urine for some time till it's full and receives the signal from the brain. Through the urinary bladder, the waste is disposed of. The excretory system is responsible for the elimination of waste produced by the chemical processes in the body to regulate its metabolism. Now, let's know about the major organs of the excretory system. The organs of the human excretory system are kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder, urethra, aorta, and renal artery. Aorta brings blood to the renal artery. Renal artery. Renal artery supplies blood to the kidney. Kidneys. Kidneys are a pair of bean-shaped organs primarily responsible for the production of urine. Kidneys collect waste from our bloodstream and turn that waste into a simpler form, which is the urine, which is then eliminated from the body. Ureter. Each kidney is connected to the renal pelvis by a thin and muscular tube. This tube is called the ureter. The function of the ureter is to propel urine from the kidneys to the urinary bladder from time to time. Urinary bladder. The urinary bladder stores urine. Urethra. This tube allows urine to pass outside the body. So, This is a diagram of the human excretory system. This is the kidney which produces urine. This is the ureter which transports urine toward the urinary bladder. This is the urinary bladder that stores the urine, and this is the urethra which transports urine outside of the body. So this is the aorta, this is the vena cava, and this is the renal vein. So now let's know about some interesting facts about excretory system. The human bladder can stretch to hold about 400 milliliter of urine. All the blood in our body is filtered 400 times through the kidneys every day. Urine stays in the bladder for up to 5 hours before discharge, depending on the amount of liquid consumed if the urinary system is healthy. Nerves send signals to the brain when the bladder needs to be emptied. With this indication, you feel the urge to empty your bladder. The kidney can clean more than 1 million gallons of water in a lifetime, which is more than enough to fill a small lake. Do you know if you make a habit of holding your pee for ages, you are subjecting yourself to a severe long-term effects, including a higher risk of infection. Constantly holding in your pee can weaken your bladder muscles, which could lead to urinary retention. So these are the bibliographies.
Now I understand the significance of the excretory system.
Wow, today I've learned a lot, and now I feel my brain is gonna explode.
Yup, the group study was a big success.
Amazing, both organ systems and our group study.
Do anything without me?
We did So friends, I hope you understand what is digestive system.